2 of those games, they gave up 2 kills at level 1. And the other game, they fell far behind Vulcan, but then still almost came back. So that's not, to me, that's not so much early game.
Right.
Even though, to me, level 1 is before the early game. Because that's before the laning phase even starts. If someone could take advantage of Cloud9 at level 1, yes. And that could be what Coast tries to do here with the Blitzcrank.
Zion, Spartan, and team are moving quite diligently here to this center portion of the map. They're not going to go for the top side. They're going to try to get in fast. A ping coming out is going to allow them to know that they're coming in. So High will kind of spread all the way down to the turret, and they're going to just take over this blue. Probably going to walk their way out after the vision.
Yeah, Cloud9 needs to make sure they play this one smartly. And Meteos, I want to see what plan he's hatched for himself to prevent Daydreamin from messing with his buffs early on. Nocturne doesn't necessarily do well when he's denied either the blue or the red buff. He actually needs both of them to have any kind of real presence early game, and it looks like Coast is trying to take control of both sides of his jungle, so there could be some very heavy denial planned from Coast team.
Still can't tell where the swaps are going just yet. We'll have to see how Cloud9 decides to figure this out as well. It looks like they themselves are going to want to run the standard lanes with the AD support in the bottom lane. I'm sure they expect Blitz and Caitlyn to be mid. That's almost told by the
It's almost a
picks.
given,
yeah.
Since they're running 2 melees in the side lanes, and you typically don't put melee tanks in the mid lane at all. And this is Meteos' plan as far as it seems. And it actually looks like as long as nothing changes, this guesswork is mostly appropriate. Meteos will take this red and then run straight to his blue before Daydreamin can deny it. But because of the wards, actually, that are on Meteos' blue buff, there's a good chance that Daydreamin would be able to roam over and stop that. We need to see how this develops.
They have it. Look, it's symmetrical on both sides. 2 to the left, or 2 to the top side, 2 to the bottom side. So they know wherever they want to go, they can start to default to that strategy.
Right, but if we actually look at where Daydreamin and Nintendo are right now, they're not getting any benefit out of this. They used 4 wards just to trade buffs. Meteos and Cloud9 guessed exactly right. There's no real benefit gained from the early warding, and I gotta say that's a great play by Cloud9 to just stop the Blitzcrank buff denial.
Quick adaptation. With the buff denial, what lane do you think they would have focused if all that went correctly? Because now they have to start adapting Coast.
I think a lot of it was just straight up guesswork.
Okay.
And at this point, Daydreamin just wants to go and make a play because he didn't get this. Balls has got to watch out.
Balls at level 2, playing it very safe. Goes with Q and E instead of getting a W to keep the farm on, and that saves his life.
Well, Cloud9 will play this one conservatively.
Yeah.
And it was a fairly obvious tell that Daydreamin had left the mid lane quite a while ago, and it basically told Balls to play as conservatively as possible against Shen.
Does it have to become a thing now that you have Blitzcrank mid? Do you have to roam with this? Does it kind of go to the wayside if you don't?
You don't have to roam, but you definitely want to, because that's the biggest strength of Blitzcrank. If you're not making plays or denying with Blitzcrank, he doesn't bring much outside of his hook in the teamfight. The hook can be completely game-changing, but outside of that, if you're not making that work, you're not bringing much.
So we turn it into the 1-2-2 here as the defense is set up by Coast. Looks like we got the Bruiser lane bottom versus the AD carry and support.
It's a pretty dangerous lane down there for Twitch and Zyra. There's a lot of closing and fighting potential with a double buff Jarvan and a Renekton down in that bottom lane.
Meteos making his way towards the top side. Don't regularly see him come out on Nocturne in the jungle, so it'll be interesting to see how he takes this game into consideration. Already foiling the try of Coast to deny buffs in the early game. Off from there, looks like, again, we're going to see Daydreamin try to get that roam on.
Yeah, Daydreamin's going a lot of up and downs, not much happening, and you can see again, Meteos is kind of power leveling himself. Trading or sharing farm in the mid lane with High so he can hit level 6 as quickly as possible and make his presence felt. He's outpacing, actually, Zion Spartan at this point, to give you an example of how quickly Meteos is farming on Nocturne.
We still have to remember very shortly we will have the level 6. That's the Stand United. That's Meteos coming in with the Paranoia. That quasi-global ultimate rather. And Dragon may be a priority for these teams. We see Coast, whenever they play against Counterlogic Gaming, they have their hands all over objectives. A good flash, but the rocket grab. High could be going down for first blood. He tries to turn it around. The cleanse on the Ignite keeps MashMe alive.
Good timing on the cleanse by MashMe, and it ended up burning the extra summoner spell in a sense on High. Timely gank by Nintendo X, and it delays Meteos' plan, because Meteos was actually going to try to hit 6, clearing the jungle, and then come in blind somewhere before the enemy was ready. But that can't happen now since since Meteos has to cover the lane after High's demise.
A quick 5-minute kill here, but 7,000 is what the gold reads, even on both sides.
So a lot of that has to do with just Twisted Fate. His passive no longer gives him the global gold, but it gives him more individual gold. So it's still going to inflate the overall gold totals minion kill wise. Hello.
Such patience by Daydreamin'. Like I said, he came in with his first game on Elise for a quadra kill. When he is on the Playmaker Champions, he makes it happen.
But then Zion Spartan didn't get the taunt, and it was all for nothing. Yes, they burned the flash, and he was able to roam after the kill in the mid lane. He needs to continue to try to make plays like that. But if Coast wants to capitalize on Cloud9's early game, they can't make mistakes like that. If you land the hook, you've got to be able to capitalize with a taunt.
Wasted opportunities are only going to start to hurt you. Daydreamin' has been making his way around the map. Yes, he's 3 CS behind Lemon Nation, but if you can't get Blitzcrank in some kind of a tanky form as you get into the game, pulling people can usually be a bad thing.
Daydreamin's going to have boots of mobility and a Sightstone, and that's what he's going to build on Blitzcrank. And at that point, he's just going to be building oracles because he needs to get the vision deny. And if Coast falls behind a little bit, they're going to lose all of that, which is why this moment and juncture in the game is ultimately one of the most important things for them.
Trying to win the ward game down in the bottom lane. Looks like for now they have the pink, so we may see Nintendo X returning to that lane in just a few minutes.
And depending on how Meteos and High position themselves, they will or will not be able to counter Zion Spartan's ultimate. That's going to be the next big thing here. Since Zion Spartan is 1v1 top lane with balls, there is a potential for Coast to pull off some sneaky business and have Zion Spartan create some action bottom lane and then go for a dragon. But if Meteos and High plan properly, they can kind of stop wherever Shen goes in. There's going to be a nice little game of cat and mouse, as really, once the TF, Nocturne, and Shen ultimates get used, it's most likely going to key for a dragon maneuver.
And here is the return of the Nintendo. He is on the backside. The second engagement from Nintendo, the participation in the fight, and he picks himself up a kill this time.
And here's the dragon. So that was very pre-planned by Team Coast, and Meteos and High were not in position to counter that 3-man gank and collapse back in on them. Now it's just a matter of Cloud9 trying to get their lanes pushed up, since Coast did 5-man that dragon, and really just get whatever else they can during all of these shenanigans.
You know, Jack, I remember you mentioning in one of the past few games that Lemon Nation is one of the supports that doesn't bring pink wards into that first portion of the game, and they were actually playing a little bit more dangerous in the bottom lane there without any wards altogether.
And this is something that Cloud9 actually does frequently in that lane. A lot of games for Cloud9, we see Lemon Nation or Sneaky actually dying a little bit if the team is willing to repeatedly gank them. But that all comes as an expected trade-off. The reason Lemon Nation and Sneaky play so far up in their lane, sometimes in unsafe ways, is because if the other team goes for a kill, Cloud9 will go for an objective. And just as we saw there, Coast took a kill and a dragon, but Cloud9 got the turret. So in a sense, they were just trading objectives despite getting killed and losing the dragon.
And that's proven by the gold, Jet. 12-1 to 12.
Yeah.
That gold still even on this matchup. Sneaky trying to pressure the lane. Still no wards coming out for Cloud9 right now. As they press up this hard, they know they're surrounded by pinks, but they can't even get a good ward in to get around that.
Yeah, but they went up and got the turret. So unless Coast was willing to stay down there again, gank again with Jarvan, and allow Meteos to continue farming, that wasn't going to happen. Essentially, if Coast wanted to defend that bottom turret, they would lose all of their presence in the mid lane, which they're trying to create right now as they're trying to finish off High's turret.
All right, so we know these 2 kills, really big here for Coast, but they only continue to count if you hold that pressure and continue to apply it. Cloud9 still looking for the objective of Dragon, which has already been taken nicely by Coast as they were able to grab it, but that will be their next fight. We usually don't see them trying to engage if they are behind until something like that, or a turret dive or something as such.
Cloud9 kind of waits very patiently for their window and then just goes all out. I'm a little surprised Meteos has done so much farming without ganking. You can see his levels and experience are very high right now, and he's also wearing the double buff, so he's ready to go. But he's still just powering up. 69 million kills, now almost 70, keeping pace with the carries on his team on Nocturne. Meteos is going to want to make his presence felt fairly quickly here, because Nocturne, even though he is capable of getting a huge amount of farm, doesn't have the greatest late game scaling with that farm. So he's got to make something happen in the mid game.
Looks like Coast wants to back. No aggression for now, as you see. Mashme using that ace in the hole. That's just a pressure off high, so they don't try to go and do anything crazy in the jungle. They will return to lane as we check out a few other things. Meteos is a full level, like you said, he's been farming over Nintendo X right now. He's hitting 9, Nintendo just hit 8. These guys should be engaging soon.
Meteos is actually the highest level in the game. Yeah. He's in
like
what we would call power farm mode right now. He's using his Duskbringer and he was using his blue buff to just move around the jungle faster and farm as much as possible. He's going to go convert 1,400 gold in his base right now into that aggressive Lizard Elder item, not the tank Golem Spirit that we've seen so many other junglers like Big Fat LP go for. So he's going to want to fight soon, maybe in this mid lane. TF and Nocturne might approach as Coast tries to take down this turret in a 3v3.
Now, everything is always definitive when you have this outer ring of turrets to take down. Coast getting a little bit of pressure on that. A gold card. Oh no, they get on the high. It should be some good damage, but probably not everything they need. Nintendo also should be able to walk out here. That turret, though, one shot away.
Oh, and Sneaky gives a little love tap to Shifters Renekton in a 1v1. That mid lane fight may have happened if I did not get hooked in, but that's just not a way Cloud9 wanted to start the fight. They're still looking to make something happen because they know that they're kind of winning the other two side lane 1v1s, so they want to at least stall out in the mid lane. Losing the turret is actually not a great outcome for Cloud9.
And still evens up the gold once again. It's just creeping in favor of Cloud9, and then they just got some investment plan going on.
Yeah, definitely appears like Cloud9 is slow playing this one a little bit, which is somewhat unlike them, but I do feel like they're just waiting to pounce. Probably at the next Dragon is where they're going to want to make their move. Kennen, in mid-game Dragon fights, once he's got that Magic Pen and the bit of items, can be brutal, since the tanks of Coast haven't actually fully tanked up yet, so they don't have that mid-game edge that they would normally have.
You can see the kind of pressure that Twisted Fate creating here. There are no turrets for Caitlyn really to be farming in, so the long range taking the shortest of the lanes to be the last one farming in, leaving the melees to take the outside push. Seems to be working for him so far, but like I said, once that mid turret's up, you know what you're doing. After it's down, it kind of gets a little slower.
And I wonder how Cloud9's going to deal with this. Specifically when Twisted Fate loses his mid lane, it heavily restricts where he's able to go. Ideally, Twisted Fate wants to kill the enemy mid-turret, shove the lane as much as possible, and then kind of walk into each side of the mid-lane river to threaten the side lanes. But Hai is actually just trapped in the bottom lane now because he's already been pushed out of mid, and he's holding against another 3-man push. I'm really noticing here that Cloud9 is just trying to get balls as farmed up as possible. He's really going to be their fight forcer, despite them having TF and Nocturne, when we start seeing big fights. That might go off this.
Meteos just on the back side. I thought we were going to see the Nintendo Cataclysm, but I feel that they didn't have enough vision, maybe, they were thinking, and we're going to back off of this. With this kind of, we'll say, version of Twisted Fate that Hai is playing, it's not one that he can Destiny in and assassinate somebody out. What's the role he can take on now that he has this entire tanky team he's got a Destiny?
It's a lot trickier for him. I think he actually wants to play mostly in the back line, stunning and kiting backwards when we see the team fights.
There's Cloud9 Pretty much home away from home for them, right in front of an objective here. Daydreaming on the backside, grabs through, gets it through the upright.
Here's the fight.
The Dragon goes to Meteos. They go into the fight. Shifter's getting some big damage onto him, and Sneaky is on the outside. The spray and pray is just lacing Nintendo right now. Mash Me, and this is where the ultimate comes in, the end of the fight when they want to control and continue the engagement.
Oh, is he going for this? No, he's going mid. I was like, is he going to go in with no gold card and get him there? That was just strong planning by Cloud9. They knew they gave up the first dragon, and they essentially traded it for turrets, but then Balls roamed down to the bottom, and as we said, he was going to be their instigator for when they really want to fight, and since Coast hadn't hit their big items yet that they want on the tanks, Cloud9 actually won that fight by a good margin, even though they only looked like they got out with 1 kill for none. No one on Cloud9 was really in big fear of dying, and they picked up the dragon as well.
Bit of a sway in the gold lead there, 22.5 now in favor of Cloud9. We see Zion Spartan in the top lane, and you know, particularly in most games, you hear a lot about Zion Spartan, but if you think about it, you don't see a lot of him until the end of the game. He's up there split pushing, he's really not participating. He is in a way, obviously. You're always moving off the ball, it still works. But pushing those top lanes and then coming into the fight, so we'll have to see if he can still do that, since him and Balls have been on an island this entire time. I'm
waiting for Meteos to get more involved. He's still heavily farming. He's still taking double buffs, and he's got a lot of power right now. He's able to duel most people on the map here. It's just a matter of him waiting for that moment. This could be a big fight though, bottom.
Wow, Shifter taking a lot of damage. There's the first slow. The slice and dice is not going to hit through anything. Ooh, he forced the flash, but he gets flashed after.
He's a couple
Sneaky's
more autos.
Trying to get a few more autos. Yes, he was trying to get those final stacks on, but it's not going to be there. A bit of a distraction allows a turret in the top lane. The possible for the kill. They get it down, and the true damage will not be enough.
Yeah, that was a bit of an overstaying of their welcome by Cloud9. Maybe the team itself got distracted by Sneaky's quest down bottom to kill Shifter and just got hooked in around the turret and died.
Trying to do what they can to keep these outer ring of turrets up. A valiant attempt as it goes down. They also lose Lemon Nation, so no pressure actually coming off of that, which Coast kind of got everything done in one fell swoop, so they can go back and buy. Cloud9 saves a bit of face for the second tier turrets, but still Sneaky on the split push. Usually we don't see the split or the Twitch split pushing as much.
No, we don't. This is a very strange game for Cloud9. First off, this is the first game we've seen no true mid laner out of Coast, so it automatically puts them in a different mindset for how they want to play. Since there's no... I've been trying to talk a lot more about like back lines and mid lines and front lines lately, and how Cloud9 is very good at maneuvering around the battle like that. This Coast team is basically all front line and then a Caitlyn, which changes the Cloud9 mindset greatly.
Oh, that'll change your mindset greatly as well. Nightmares in your head, the transfer of the buff. Good guy Meteos just takes it. Nintendo having a little bit of a tussle here, not liking plants whatsoever, however. Balls, Zion Spartan in the top lane, that Sunfire Cape gives him a bit of an edge. Balls doesn't like it.
That was Meteos starting to get involved.
Yeah.
Level 12. You saw the Twitch plus Meteos burst that came down, and that was with High not even participating. That's going to be their answer to stopping Coast split pusher farm very shortly.
And it looks like High, you know, telling us how he's going to play the game. The Zanya's on the first build, so he will be throwing himself into the fight sometimes if he feels necessary, trying to engage. And we see Tiamat's on both sides of the inventory.
Yes. So this is Meteos' full aggressive Nocturne. I really wish I remember the name of the player right now in solo queue, but there is a Nocturne player in very high elo who builds Lizard Elder and then Ravenous Hydra on Nocturne and just tries to fight people for the entire game, like Glass Cannon Nocturne. Meteos may have taken some inspiration from that, and he's just going for it. It's a pretty effective build for melees. I honestly feel like Ravenous Hydra is a better AD item for melees than Bloodthirster, because you don't have to stack it and you get that nice active spell.
Ooh,
that was a close one.
Almost put it around that first melee minion, but it's not going to be the case. There are a lot of people that are about to party in the bottom lane, though.
Yeah, this could be a big party. It's going to be all about whether Shifter can make it down in time. Other than Cloud9 playing this one defensive, because they know that Zion Spartan can always join a party since his ultimate's up, and there's no way Cloud9's going to opt in to a 4v5.
After walking through a Vision Ward.
No, not going to do it. To get back to the team fight play, though, I do believe potentially High and Meteos might just want to dive straight onto Don't Mash Me, since he doesn't have stuff there. He's just an AD carry by himself, kind of awkwardly on a team with a bunch of tanks. But the rest of the team, and maybe why Sneaky's getting more farm, is because he needs to sit in the back line all alone and try to take people out.
Ooh, they walked out on that one. We get a teleport in for a bit of safety. We got a few ults burned on that one. Sneaky's down, Destiny down, as well as Elimination, and everything is up for Coast. So I'd say that was a pretty good play there.
It's going to be very convenient for Cloud9 in team fights if they can just layer the Zyra ultimate with the Kennen ultimate to keep Sneaky alive and spray and praying. The teamfight phase looks actually very good for Cloud9.
Oh, Daydream again hit up very, very early on that one. He definitely got hit with a grasping root to start it off. Lemonation waiting for the cooldowns, putting himself towards the front though. They're trying to get good peel down here for High, as well as Sneaky comes into the fight. Shifter tries to get the focus down onto him, but there is just too much focus. Lemonation staying alive with some photosynthesis.
Speaking of good team fighting for Cloud9, they wrecked them there, and the damage from Meteos coming out with, by the way, thanks very much to Twitter and our producers for telling us Ninja Ken is the Nocturne player who runs the Ravenous Hydra. Big time damage Nocturne right there.
Coming out huge. Nocturne just with the AoE damage. We'll see how much it hurts and how the top lane actually went down as Daydream died on the bottom.
Yeah, it didn't even look like much. Like, how did Balls actually, he got this turned around on him because he interrupted him while he was low, and Zion Spartan just killed him. So overall, it allowed Cloud9 to win the 4v4, but he sacrificed himself. He's a team player.
Oh, twice. No, he's not going to go for it twice. He knows Elimination is just on the tail of High there. Double buffs as well approaching him, so it will be a tough escape. 21-20 into the game, 5-4. The gold lead slowly increasing. It went from 2 to 4K now of a deficit for Coast. And 3-2 in turrets means those outer ring of turrets has been pressured down, and Cloud9 is going to be looking to engage these fights and get a little bit more.
They may just be trying to create a bunch of containment in Coast jungle right here, I think is the right word for it, because Meteos' ultimate's almost up. High will be able to teleport in, and they've shown that they can kind of dominate in some team fights here. Since Meteos has the benefit of just killing a squishy, as long as he can actually dive through the front line of Coast. It's allowing him to build Glass Cannon Nocturne without getting punished, since there's not actually a bunch of people that will kill him as long as he's smart with the way he goes in. This is another fun carry jungler game for Meteos.
And if we kind of, we're 22 minutes in, but we can start to look at what happens, because these teams are obviously going to start playing for a turtle. If the second tier turret goes down, if they get the beef that they want onto Coast, will they just start to be able to walk over Cloud9?
Maybe, but probably not, only because of how well Cloud9 finished their pick phase. When Lemon Nation picked Zyra, on top of already having Kennen, plus just having Twitch to AoE down, it's so difficult for their 3 tanks to dive in, Shen, Jarvan, and Renekton, and not just get caught up in all of Zyra's roots and obliterated by Twitch's spray and pray.
Oh, obliterated just like this, possibly, but it's going to be a 2v1 as he calls for some help. Shifter gets himself away, a few ultimates used for a few ultimates.
Trying to be sneaky running into that push with Shifter, and it worked out because it burned everything for just the Nocturne out. Now they're able to create some turret pressure.
Again, you see Mash Me, his style of Caitlyn play is pretty much use that ultimate when it's up, get the pressure damage out, knowing that Elimination's going to be towards the front side of that fight. The more the damage on him, the less he can disengage quickly. Zion Spartan Balls again on this island in the top lane. These guys are on vacation right now.
Yeah, and that vacation is going in the favor of Zion Spartan. That's probably the only positive thing the Coast has going for them this game, is how Zion Spartan is winning that split push battle with Balls. It's now a matter of the rest of Coast not losing these 4v4 scenarios that actually, if we remember, happened right here when they got obliterated in the team fight. No Nocturne ult up this time, but if Lemon Nation lands something, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cloud9 just go in head first.
Daydreaming, pulling the balk out. It definitely gets High to walk around the corner, so they see their 4 strong in the bottom lane. Zion Spartan expecting a rendezvous with Kennen in the top lane in just a few seconds, as the bottom lane now being taken out. Coast is going to focus on the turret, but Nintendo tries to focus on getting a kill here. Decides to go back in the end.
You got a little scared.
You did get scared.
They got the turret.
They had
no
total
problem,
position.
Nintendo. Nothing was there. Don't worry about it. There's no nightmares coming. You got another about 30 seconds on those.
It's weird seeing Cloud9 react to things so quickly. Usually they're the one at least pushing a turret when they're losing a turret. They're having to defend a lot of things right now. But who knows? That could change in the next few seconds. That's Cloud9's play.
They need Meteos to be able to go in, is what they need. They can't necessarily get a clean initiation without him. And I think that's why they had to concede that turret.
That's tough. I'm just thinking, I'm like, all right, Meteos, I am going to Nocturne ult in to a Renekton, a Jarvan, a Shen. Like,
yeah, he's going to go to the Caitlyn, and he's then going to force everyone else to go back. And if they clump like that, it would allow Sneaky and Lemonation to land all of their AoEs on top of them. It's all about forcing Coast into a ball so that the AoE can happen.
Best way to do that may be to throw on the Destiny. They're going to try to rock it down. Masmi over the wall. He positions himself great for no accidents there. Nintendo throws himself back into the fight. A valiant attempt by the jungler. It looks like they are going to continue the fight. Zion Spartan not making it to the fight, did he? Daydreaming and Shifter there. Mashmi, there's Spartan. He did make it past, but that means Balls is pushing the top lane by himself.
And Coast is so good for Cloud9. They're going to continue the chase.
They get the grab. That's the minion.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's a little bit of gold, but not what they wanted in the disengage. Balls has the turret to half health in that top lane. A kill onto Zyra. A quick run in from Mashmi on the side. Nobody sees him, and he gets out stealthily. It's going to be Daydreaming to overdrive his way out of this fight.
And Cloud9 wants to continue this as long as possible because Balls is just happily split pushing the other lane. I have to give a shout out to Meteos in that fight because he just ran through the lane after he overdove and is now healed up so much thanks to his lifesteal. That was a brilliant fight by Cloud9.
He has finished that Ravenous Hydra. Looks like he's just going for more damage after that as the Lich Bane coming out for, oh, of course. Yeah. As High has finished that, that means their turret taking, or turret aggression is going to be turned up a little bit more. And we saw Destiny, they really kind of just walked that one in. Like, a lot of the ultimates are just being used to put fear in Coast right now.
So we could really see in broad daylight, oh, look out, Balls. Is Daydreaming going to land a hook? He's going to try.
He could have it. Boom.
Left or right?
Oh!
Shot it right. He went left.
Sun was in his eyes.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about the initiation patterns by Cloud9. Very clearly, High has the Zhonya's to go in and land a stun onto Don't Mash Me's Caitlyn, and Meteos will then go in directly after. And unless Don't Mash Me uses Cleanse Flash, he will be chained up for the TF stun and then the Nocturne Fear and die immediately every fight. Unless Coast completely pulls back and balls up, which is again exactly what Cloud9 wants. It really sucks to be Don't Mash Me right now because Cloud9 has a perfect combo to take him out.
He was forced to run Cleanse this game, so really everything, it would be Barrier if he was not, but that defensive, oh, going into Nintendo. This is the second time they've really gone on him after not getting a first target. We saw Mashmi flash in the last fight, but they said, we could take Nintendo down, let's just do it.
Yeah, Mashmi wasn't there, so they just took anyone.
But they
you can build as many take on him as you want, but with all the damage that Cloud9 is building and all the catch potential, they're still going to die, which is, Coach really needed to get a lead with this game or maybe turn it around here. This is their real only opportunity, and this is a very dangerous Baron by Cloud9. They're looking for a fight.
Stand United coming in from the bottom lane. Shifter gets a little bit of help there. Can he continue to call the meek and slice and dice around? He goes down, turned into a briefcase, and Mashmi try. Oh, I was like, well, I get a little close there. You have long range. You don't have to attack. A headshot into the next one. A double kill coming up for Mashmi. He makes it look good. The team is going to chase a very low combined health for both teams coming into this next fight they engage.
Yeah, that was so beneficial for Coast right there, and the reason Don't Mash Me could pick up a double kill is because the Cloud9 kill Don't Mash Me combo we talked about was used on Nintendo because they saw the freedom there, but then since they forced the Baron fight right here, you can see they have no way of getting onto Don't Mash Me in this fight, and it's actually Cloud9 who ends up grouping up, and it allows Don't Mash Me to safely fire in his shots and just take Cloud9 out one by one. There's also a nice taunt flash by Zion Spartan here to catch on to Balls. If you flash right at the end of your taunt animation, you can extend it and get the taunt, and that's something Zion Spartan executed there to pick up the kill on Balls.
Actually, quite hard to do.
Not for beginners.
Yeah. Not something you should try the first time in a ranked game. 9-7, 30 minutes into this one, a 7,000 gold lead. The Coast needs to close quickly. Cloud9 does not let up once they start climbing those stairs, and right now they are sprinting to the top of this game, looking for another win. A loss for Coast here.
That puts him out of the playoffs.
Puts him out of the playoffs and solidifies quite a few things in the standings.
It is a huge moment right now for Coast. Whereas Cloud9, they obviously want to win, but just the differences in how much these teams really need to want this is so far off.
Definitely see the lack of an area of effect damage ability on Coast, having a bit of a hurt here. You have Kennen to come in, and we even saw that when Maple Street played Kennen yesterday on AD, for the first portion of, the first level 6 ultimate, it is still effective until it goes to late game and just becomes a stun. Having that, everything that they need without any area of effect on Coast is definitely hurting the game right now.
Yeah, about 338 ability power here on Balls. Only going to get more. I think he's actually going to be going for a death cap with that next needlessly large rod item. Despite being 0-2 and 3, he has an amazing presence in team fights. And honestly, I just want to watch Meteos in these team fights and see how quickly he can kill people. Here we go. Look out, don't mash me.
Oh, right to the back line. He's forced to flash. The card hit him anyway. From the backside in downtown, they finally get the kill they were looking for. A double kill coming in for High there. They're looking for more.
And there's a split push option coming in from Zion Spartan right here, but they're going to lose this race by a long shot. There is not much here to defend the base when you look at Shifter and Intendude X. Not to mention, they've only sent Balls back, and I don't think this is actually going to repel Cloud9's push. Cloud9's still going to be able to get some of these inhibitor turrets.
This is going to be pretty big. Now that Balls has gotten big with that Zanya, is almost a Rabadon's finished. He has the Haunting Guys. Like you said, he's going to be able to stop that lane, and we can see pressure after, or damage rather. Consistent damage onto that turret. High destroys the turret in the top lane, which means an inhibitor is open.
I feel so bad for Caitlyn right now. Yeah. He eat away.
He's farming.
Cleanse, flashed, almost right as a CC hit, but so much damage was packed in when Meteos and High teleported on top of him. They didn't even ignite him.
No.
And now he doesn't have his cleanse or flash, but the Nocturne and TF ultimates are almost up again. Unless Coast gets this Baron like right now, I don't see how they're winning team fights.
It's hard for Mashme when you're against multiple front-end bursts of damage that can be followed up by more bursts of damage.
And it's also because, like, if Coast had an Orianna or something, or a typical mid lane caster, even an Ahri, they could shut down some of that. Because if you're diving straight on, like, just watch how fast he dies here. The damage hit him all immediate, and I think the card gets him.
Yeah, he's not.
No! Okay. Right at the last second.
Sharp cards.
Yeah. He is a card master. Yeah.
Double Lift would be proud. 32 and a half minutes. We're over actually the Cloud9 average went up a little bit, so we're probably still approaching that. 53,000 gold to 44,000 here. 7-4 in turrets. Cloud9 faltered a little bit in the beginning, allowing Coast to get a few kills, but they have found their bearings now and are cleanly pushing down every single lane. Now looking at only inhibitor turrets. Coast coming in with a huge AD composition to start this match off. The AP coming from Daydreaming on Blitzcrank, and it so far hasn't worked out as well as they hoped.
Yeah, as soon as if Don't Mash Me thinks about coming up, you can see where he's standing right now. Like, he wants to be able to run back into his Nexus turrets. Even that small amount of poke that just landed on him from a TF card could just mean death for him. This is hyper dangerous. Ooh. Coast really wants to land a hook, so Cloud9 doesn't have control over this initiation.
High just flashed. They're trying to go in. Intendude X is separated from the Strangle Thorns. Balls throws down. The Zanya's double kill coming in. The third and the fourth kill coming in, and we're going to see the ace finalized in the matchup. They are going to go for the Nexus.
Well, that does it. There's your glass cannon how-to by Meteos and High. That's how you want to Nocturne now. I want to go and play that right now. Congratulations here to Cloud9. Another win. And this does mean Coast is eliminated from the playoffs.
Rolled me.
You could catch a laugh.
That's how it works. Velocity versus Dignitas on the screen behind us now. On the screen in front of you as we quickly disappear.
See you later.
On the Rift, we are underway. 15 seconds in. That's going to go up a second every time, and it's going to be a long one.
Every second it's gonna. What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Time.
Just like you said
powerful thing.
The other time, there were always be left-handed people.
Yeah. There's always going to be someone who's left-handed, like Chris.
like Chris. He is present within this game, and we're going to see if that helps them to grab this victory. A huge, destructive karma cue coming out right there. And really, back in the day, in some nations, that's one of the rudest things you can do.
All right, then. Going to leave that one out there. I got to talk about Echo, though, and his karma play in particular. Karma is a tremendously strong laner. But then as a mage, in my opinion, she has a very hard time reaching the backline or getting through tanks and teamfights. So what Echo is going to have to do to make this Karma work is absolutely dominate the laning phase and actually win the game quite early, or transition into a support for Maple Street, which would mean he actually can't take too much of the farm himself. He's in a very strange predicament right here as far as getting his optimal power off with Karma.
We saw quite a bit of Karma coming out in EU.
We've seen some top lane Karma.
Yeah.
Obviously the jungle Karma. I haven't seen Karma win many games in Europe, but we have been seeing more and more play of her. So these players are still kind of feeling her out. They see a lot of potential there, I think, just because, you know, any one of her Mantra's spells is really good on its own. Just the amount of speed you can grant the team with an Alt D. But there's actually a very exciting, potentially, fight going down by the
It's almost
buff
exciting.
here.
It's going to get exciting.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to
It's
get
ramping
exciting.
up in excitement as we speak. And it looks like it climaxed. There we go. And back down. The excitement will come again.
That wasn't very exciting. I thought we were going to see a delayed invade. Are they giving the blue buff to Evaniscus?
This is exciting.
This is something new. I feel very sorry for NK Inc. I don't know what he's going to do now.
They're going to go over and take the dragon that's not there.
They're going to go for Dragon. So they're going to try to tank it with the plants. The reason they gave Evaniscus level 2 is so he can get plants and he can detonate them on this dragon. This is the way they're going to try to trade damage on the dragon and sneak it at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. This is the velocity we've been waiting for, Riv.
Here we go. You can see the smile on NK Inc.'s face. They're like, they have no idea. And they're actually doing this very well. If he comes out with this over 50% health, I will be impressed. And I'm still impressed.
That's cool. You know, why hasn't Velocity been doing stuff like this before? They clearly have it in the bag. Before the season, Velocity was talking about how they were going to pull off this risky stuff, and they need to. Got to see how this affects NK Inc. later, and we got to see how this affects the rest of Velocity, because that was a great sacrifice NK Inc. put in. He's still level 1, 3 minutes into the game on Jarvan, but that dragon is going to catch Dignitas completely off guard. They have no idea.
They went for that fast. He also smited. Has his flag for the jungle, so he'll be able to get through that. Looks like alone. Kiwi Kid in the top lane getting pushed out quite hard by Chris right now. Like you said, being that Riven player, not showing it too much for us in the LCS, but definitely having his way right now. He gets him on the third broken wings. Won't be able to pop the passive. Grabbing up. They both blow their ignites, though. That was a little odd.
And maybe Chris may have overstayed his welcome. If Crumbs lands a stun right here, they might be able to combo him down.
The wings are out. The ignite is down, coming in from Kiwi Kid, and he doesn't want to aggress there. They did force the flash. Not the worst to be lost on Riven with her gap closing, but still going to be effective.
Yeah, so Crumbs having to go and rescue Kiwi Kid a little bit there. Chris started with the red Elixir Riven and has burned through the remainder of his health potions, so as long as Kiwi Kid withstands a little bit more, he will have a bit of an edge in that lane.
You know, and just as we were talking to Alex Penn in the last interview, he said, you know, I think due to the changes, we might see a few more standard lane matchups, and that's what we're getting here out of this game as well. Cutie Pie and Patoy versing off against Evaniscus and Maple Street. And Patoy has been running some fiddlesticks lately. I like his variety of support champions.
And I wonder what they were thinking, or what Dignitas was thinking when Evaniscus came to lane with the blue buff. Because typically, you're thinking, oh, they messed up the pull and got blue. That's why they're late to the lane. They
So many
may
implications.
still not realize the dragon is gone, because they haven't warded that area of the jungle yet, and just having a blue buff doesn't necessarily tell you they got the
That was
level
like
2 dragon.
240, so it's going to be...
It was a very late approach to lane, so if they were really thinking about it, they would be able to kind of figure out what's just like, well, they didn't invade red, they got the blue buff. What were they doing with all that time? Oh, dragon, but I'm not sure.
And I think it might even work better with Zyra, too, because you're like, it was a plant steal. It was definitely a plant steal.
It had to be. That only works with Zyra level 2.
5 minutes into this one, we'll figure out when exactly Dignitas makes their way to the middle of that river. And actually, they're pushed up quite far here because of Crumbs being behind them.
Yeah, and NK Inc. trying to come back in this game. This could be a terrible counter gank if they overcommit.
With that wave coming in, they really have to second guess this, and it looks like they will start to peel off.
Yeah,
Meniscus super low. These guys, they're being kept out, and Kiwi Kid as well. So Chris doing what he can to pick up the slack for the bottom lane. Not that they're losing it that bad. It's 10 CS, but they're kept down and at the turret the entire time. So it's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, the farm in that top lane between Chris and Kiwi Kid is actually still pretty close. Doesn't actually make up
Oh, yeah, you're right.
for the 350 gold of that red elixir. So Kiwi Kid,
Gotta take
even though it
everything
looks
into
like he's losing,
consideration.
yeah, hasn't had to detonate his passive yet. Still has that cell division, and hasn't lost. He has a bit of a risk of when Chris comes back to lane, since he's level 6, of just getting all in right away. But I feel like Kiwi Kid should be ready for it.
Winning a lane just doesn't come off of HP. Comes out of the inventory as well. We'll have to see if Kiwi Kid can now bring the CS up to equal out that lane in the way it should be for Chris. His flash and ignite are down. You got to remember from the last pressure Crumbs brought to the top lane. Chris will be heading back with a Brutalizer and a ward, so he should be able to disengage on anything brought to him there. Crumbs is in base. Looks like he's going to start heading towards mid.
The reason this lane between Maple Street and AmaCutiePie is so one-sided for AmaCutiePie is because of the experience advantage that they had after Maple Street and Evaniscus took that dragon. Always having levels has just given CutiePie the ability to bully and is keeping him down in this lane.
So with Echo on Karma, as you said before, a little bit harder for Karma to dive to the back line. What does that purpose become in the late game team fight for Karma? Is it a lot of utility burst here and there?
It's a very confusing role for her there, since she doesn't have the true ultimate that a lot of other casters would have. Yes, it's utility focused, and you're basically looking for prolonged team fights with lots of kiting. Uh-oh.
Echo walking in. A little bit of a problem there. You can see the shield and the speed. A little bit of that utility coming out right now for Echo. Kiwi Kid flashed in that top lane. Chris may be able to grab a bit of an advantage off of that.
So NK Inc. has no smite here, and Crumbs does. This could set NK Inc. far behind if they end up contesting this blue entirely. Neither jungler really wants to commit here, and they're basically just trading. Crumbs is worried about Maple Street collapsing in behind, and Skara might be trying to help them as well. They missed the stun, but they're trying to hit him.
That was a dodge. It gives him the right positioning, but Maple Street didn't turn around there. He's still backing up. They said, we don't want anything to do with this, because blue is still up. There's the exploding cast. Cannot get a hit from Scar there on the body slam. The ignite is up. The repel is down. They get the Q. The true shot barrage going by just for a good look.
And that's the long game loss almost of everything that's happened to NK Inc. in this game, starting with the Dragon. After he used Smite on Dragon and didn't hit level 2, NK Inc. had to go to red buff, didn't even got level 2 there, but then had to shop, then came back, and just because he was so far behind at that point, it weakened him for that eventual blue buff fight, and that's why Dignitas was able to get the first blood.
Great pressure coming out from Crumbs to keep himself omnipresent on the jungle, along with the rest of the team. This leaves Chris in the top lane, and he really, with these tussles and pushing Kiwi Kid out of lane, he, like you said, hasn't been able to grab too much of an advantage. The CS is still very close, and I'm sure the turrets have not taken much damage yet in those lanes, which they have not.
No, especially not with the standard lane setups.
Yeah.
Now, since it's 9 minutes in, the armor bonus that turrets have for the first 8 minutes is completely gone. And if teams have a window after shoving someone out of lane, the turrets could start falling very quickly.
Dignitas having a very scary press 6 composition here with the ability to disperse and displace the team of Velocity in their attempt to stop people from getting to that back line. They do have Evaniscus on Zyra though, so those dives from Kiwi Kid and Crumbs repels will be able to be stopped somewhat. It's going to be a barrage, for lack of a better word, of everything after that they have to dodge. Oh man, just missing the cocoon there, but it looks like they'll be able to follow up. Skara picking up a kill for himself in the game.
That was a nice wait and see by Skara. He's been shoving the lane very well and then faking ganks bottom again and again, which is why Echo tried to tried to contest, and now Patoy flashes in for the fear.
Evaniscus, exhaust is down. He does throw out the zone alt of Stranglethorn, but it's not going to be enough. The red buff actually hasn't hit, but the true shot barrage does. I was like, Crumbs, you got red buff. You're only using spells. You got to hit her. But they get it. Pick it up in the end.
Nice shot by Untitled right at the end there, picking up another kill. And that was just the game Dignitas wants to play. They want to find as many roaming fights as possible, and Skara was the facilitator, I'd have to say, for both of those kills.
Chris still on a good trade of harass, definitely winning those, as you can see right in front of you. Brutalizer coming in for Cutie Pie here, and we've seen him do this a few times before, feeling the efficiency of that item early.
That's Cutie Pie's build on Ezreal, it seems. He'll go right for there and then maybe towards the blue build. I'm not sure if he's going to take any liberties with that build this time. But also there was a second red elixir completed or just built by Chris. He's putting a lot of investment just into that lane against Kiwi Kid because he really wants to get an edge and then punish, but he's yet to be able to do that. He's been very close to killing Kiwi Kid multiple times, but never quite taken it over the top.
I feel like the early dragon almost can't be utilized because at that time, if you get the early gold, you get it to everyone.
You're not going to shop yet.
But you haven't shopped, and you don't want to leave the lane for the first few waves, so it really wasn't something they could build off of.
It didn't work for them this game, but I still love the strategy. It could have helped. It can help Echo against Skara and also Chris against Kiwi Kid. Because on their first shop, they're going to have that extra gold to then take advantage.
That's true.
It's a delayed reaction, and it all depends on how much Crumbs does with the time gained when he doesn't have an enemy jungler threat against him.
Cutie Pie, that was his last bit of mana. He does have flash up, and he will proceed to use it. Should just be a walkout here for Patoy. He's going to use his ultimate to get away.
That was crafty.
He knew the crowd control was gone, so he's like, hey, let's just do this.
Patoy had no flash from the previous engage, and since all of NK Inc. and Evanis's roots or knockups have been used, surprise party out of there.
Oh, Cutie Pie, you're low. Low on the mana. Get yourself out of there. Again, it goes down. He gets out with 300 health. This time, Crumbs might have been baited in. Here comes Echo from the outside. The minion takes it. Good guy, minion, but Crumbs goes down eventually.
Look out, Skara!
Boom! Oh! That was huge. Everybody going for the max distance ride on that one. Skara gets locked down. He's got the Athenes, but it's not going to allow him to fight that well just yet.
And as nice as that ultimate was, it wasn't a finisher, and then he was in 1v4. I'm actually surprised that Velocity wasn't able to kill him after that one. And that is actually what Karma wants, is what Velocity got there. Echo has the extended long fight where he gets a couple cycles. Karma wants to be able to use 2 Mantrid spells at least in a fight to get full effectiveness, since that's really her edge with no true ultimate. That's kind of what Velocity got there.
Chris is really not giving too much respect here to Kiwi Kid. Farming behind his turret, directly going at Kiwi. Kiwi with a lot of health sitting on the ground, forces the flash, and this lane's about to turn around a little bit here for Kiwi Kid.
Kiwi Kid is stacking
a lot of armor.
Shot.
That was close.
I'm surprised, you know, it's a good guess. Cutie Pie was hoping that he was recalling in that brush and that he wouldn't be bold enough to take double golems. Since he did take double golems, Kiwi Kid gets a lot of turret damage now. So I'd say that was a very intelligent guess from Cutie Pie, because if he's done the golems, it's potentially the wrong choice, but if he doesn't, then you're going to kill him. And then Kiwi Kid doesn't even take the turret. Come on, man. Looks like they're going for...
Thoughtception.
Yeah.
Sometimes too shallow, sometimes too deep. They'll never let you be right, Jap.
No.
They will never, ever let you be
it's
right.
all those smiles and laughs.
15 minutes as we approach that into the game. 3-1. The gold has been closed up a little bit here between what's going on. It's within 1,000 right now. That 800 gold lead in favor of Velocity. Yes, that's right, as they're down in kills.
And now it's a straight-up 3v3 in the jungle. Let's see how this goes.
We're going to see. There's the 2. Oh, bouncing them apart as they try to get the buddy system going on. He keeps Chris in the Cataclysm, and he wasn't using much to get out, but he does save himself.
He's able to hop out afterwards. But that 3v3 was very on the side of Dignitas, even without the Zac ultimate. Echo's doing his best to save the red buff as well, at least because he was untouched in this fight. NK Inc.'s got to worry about getting bursted down.
Kiwi Kid flies into the fight, trying to give the speed over. How did you just make it out alive?
Once again.
And he is limping away. Echo could pick it up with one more Q. He's got good shield. This is where the utility, that blue buff starts to come in, hits the blobs. NK Inc., will you dive over the wall? He's like, no, here's a ward.
This fight is going on for a real time.
That was so late. What are you doing? The bottom lane. Zyra goes down as well. They're going to try to trade this back. He tries to get the plant down. The true shot barrage of Cutie Pie just missing wide, but Toy's got a ward in the bush. He goes down. There is a bloodbath everywhere.
Having 3 kills on I'm a Cutie Pie and Skara is fantastic for Dignitas' overall plan. The fight inside Dignitas' jungle was a little bit loopy, and now they're just going to continue to dive.
From Wraiths, doing what he can. Gets the heal on. Can he get the damage? The shield is so big. That's that utility. The last Q, the buff transfer. And the minions won't be able to chase.
That was
Look at
almost
Echo.
really cool.
He's pulling his hair out. He knows it's so close.
He'd actually timed his Mantra W right for when the dive hit, which is an absurd heal. It's an instant 20% heal, and then 20% more over the duration of it. Let's check out how this kill happened bottom, though.
There's not much you can do in the cost surprise.
And then Maple Street tried to get something back. He did give one, but giving the double kill to I'm a Cutie Pie, not necessarily worth it.
That was like a very fast reaction by Maple Street. Like, he heard the sound, like the first yell of Ezreal. He's like, flash. That true shot barrage looked like it was completely off, but Maple Street was just too fast.
Yeah.
And he got himself the kill with that.
No one has been criticizing Maple Street as a player this entire split, even being on Velocity. He's been, when they win, like hard carrying them.
Yep.
He'll have 10 or 15 kills. And to Velocity's credit, this could be a game where they maybe try to get that again.
Oh, the 2v1 situation is just over the wall here, but Chris says, this feels good. Let's go. I got my carrot out. He's going to be going for crumbs, trying to get that kill down. Oh, Wind Slash so close to getting that kill. He's left with 300 HP rather. That ticks down. He's got 112 left. He's going to go in for the shield being brought on.
That was a very close engagement. And if Chris would have held his third Q for when crumbs dropped, he would have gotten the kill. Round 2.
The second
Round
chance.
2. He might recall all the way by the time he gets there. He's gone.
Nope, it's gone.
I think he was on. I think he had the aim right.
It looked good.
Yeah,
it looked pretty good. Kiwi Kid was kind of trying to hug the turret there to give him a bit of like fog of war vision, just on the hip. Like, here it is. You might want to shoot. You might want to shoot here. That gold lead of 800 is now 2,000 in favor of Dignitas. They found their way around the map, and that roam has definitely given them the control and is causing Velocity to have to adapt quickly mid-game here.
Ooh, I'm a Cutie Pie's probably going for Trinity Force. We have not seen that in a while as he's getting fought by Maple Street.
He's missing the 3 Dorns that he usually builds, but the Triforce would be cool to see. I'm sure Freak will be happy. The engagement here, NK Inc. just on the backside. We'll see who thinks they have the engagement here. For a big man, Gragas moves very quickly. Probably one of these most of the mobile champions that you would kind of not consider.
Chris going real aggressive on this turret.
This is respect being given and not given at the same time. When one has more health than the other, the fight is almost going a different way, but it doesn't look like Chris is going to have too much of an advantage here. The slingshot was used quite early there to keep him in range. The kill in mid lane. Dignitas is finding something somewhere if the other thing's not happening.
Scar's trying to take over this game.
Like I said, he's going for that final form.
Yeah. What's crazy about this one, though, is how close the gold actually is despite the 9-2 kill score. A lot of that has to do with the early dragon Velocity took down. Yeah, this is that kill on NK Inc. It was just Crumbs landing a point-blank stun, and then Dignitas using all their spells. A very straightforward kill, but again, here comes the fight bottom.
Oh, Evanescence gets that boom! Exploding cask. Maple Street trying to run away. He's like, I'm feared right now. I don't know where to go. It still hits me. Well, I'm invisible.
Yeah. Oh, he's not too invisible. They're still able to guess where he is. To get back to the point, as Dignitas takes another blue steal, this relates to it. NK Inc. got set so far behind by that dragon, Dignitas is continually punishing that fact.
Boom! Goes away, goes to Gragas. Skara, it's happy hour, he says. Chris trying to push that top lane. He does have the first here, but again, the engagement. Dignitas walks out of the jungle. Deja Vu walks back into the jungle. Doesn't make it over the wall, but Cutie Pie does.
Yeah, he does. Trinity Force completed. This is 11 of the 12 kills for Dignitas on their 2 most threatening damage dealers and highly mobile characters as well. Scar and I'm a Cutie Pie are looking to wreck face here. Anywhere they go, they want to fight. And Velocity almost needs to group up against these guys because otherwise you're going to continue to get obliterated.
Still doing big damage to pretty much... Oh, the Flash Sphere! They get the Drain on as well. Cutie Pie finishes that one off. The Brutalizer Trinity Force build coming through here. The mid game, it's going to be super powerful.
This is the time for Dignitas right now. I'm a Cutie Pie doesn't even have boots right now. The Trinity Force is something we have not seen on Ezreal in a while since the Iceborne Gauntlets kind of do the same thing but more defined. Cutie Pie just built a Ghost Blade as well.
Yeah, he did. I saw it come up in the chat and I was like, all right, that's on Riven, that's on... No, oh, it's on Cutie Pie.
Yep.
All right.
Good on him.
We'll see what we can do with it. Does that synergize with him? I mean, obviously the speed, you get that anyways out of your passive.
Yeah, a little bit.
You get some crits.
He gets move speed if he pops the active, which could increase his mobility. And it will also allow him to stack more armor penetration if he really wants to.
Yeah.
A little bit of crit to help with this Trinity Force. He's just going for the overall stats, but mostly I think he built it because he's 6-0.
He's like, what? Infinity Edge Zephyr? Okay, double lift.
Triforce Ghostblade.
Triforce Ghostblade. Oh, Scar putting himself in a 3v1. Knows the team is on the other side. He's very low here. The Drunken Rage is on, but it won't keep him alive for long. NK Inc. follows in the 2-for-1 retribution here coming up from Dignitas. Crumbs and Kiwi Kid definitely reconsidering the fight.
A little bit of miscommunication on those flashes. Chris in, Echo out.
Yeah, they want to be able to swap that the different way. The flip side would have been better. Maple Street does not decide to chase from the back because behind him is an even bigger squad of Dignitas.
There was a bit of trouble if he tried to open up on Zach there. Overall, though, I have to say Velocity won that fight. They took the deaths, but they got the shutdown bonus on Scar, and as long as they don't die here, it's all right.
That's going to be pretty big. Cutie Pie just on the outside. It's Kiwi Kid with that red buff, so Dignitas, or rather Cutie Pie, is trying to walk himself into these fights. You can see it caused him a little bit of trouble there. Get the auto attack to keep himself alive with some HP. I don't think the blobs will make it out. Cutie Pie doing what he can. He needs to get out.
It's a correct assumption that those blobs are dead, and that was an overdrive and then some by Dignitas. Cutie Pie flashed in, only to never auto-attack because he then recognized the error of his ways. Can he get him?
Oh! That's big.
The error of his ways, and he nearly died of the Twitch poison, but he essentially baited Kiwi Kid into dying. Here comes Patoy.
Huzzah! Happy birthday, Maple Street. I didn't know what his address was, but Patoy had it.
I mean, he lives on Maple Street. It's in his name.
Well, there's obviously more than one house.
231 Maple Street.
Touché. 17-5, 23 minutes into the game. It's 36,000 to 31,000 here. Dignitas is increasing this lead quite a bit. Every time they show their hand, it's Velocity folding, except for that last one. They got the bluff a little bit, like you said. We're able to gain some ground on Shutdown Gold. If we can get Twitch on the outside, get some good ults coming in from Riven, get them squishy, and get that spray, and definitely pray.
Regardless of the bad fights Dignitas has kind of had,
wow,
they need to get... They need to keep playing this chaotic way because they don't necessarily have the team that groups up and just has great team fights. The chaos of this game is what Dignitas lives for.
Crumbs having a bit of trouble here. He's not even communicating for the team, but you can see them semi-mobilizing. It may be the Dark Wind here coming in from Patoy, but they back off as well. Power in numbers. They know Crumb's going to be safe as he repels away.
Oh, don't walk on that barrel.
Scar trying to play that one before he turned the page. He could have had some extra damage onto Echo.
Those shields are very powerful from Echo right now.
Boom, Scar goes right up. Oh, Fat Man goes down, and it looks like they are going to be able to just fight around the turret. Again, denying that it's there. No, somebody had focus onto it.
Down.
Turret does go down. Maple Street is on the wrong side of the fight. That's the front side. True Shot Barrage clearing through, and it does pick up Chris on the back side.
5th time's the charm there for the True Shot Barrage. Gets the long-range snipe, and that's the chaos that Dignitas wanted to create. It seemed like Scar had made a mistake, but the rest of Dignitas just flew in to help him. And I'm a Cutie Pie continues his dominance right here. Looks like they get the inhibitor.
Nice dodge by Patoy. I thought they would have gotten some extra damage, but they make their way out. The inhibitor goes down. They have nice waves to push in the top and the bottom lane.
Yeah, let's take a look at this fight one more time, though, just to see how chaotic it became. Cutie Pie actually ends up sniping a kill from the side on Echo after Echo had escaped. And from here, Kiwi Kid actually just kind of mans up. Dignitas ignored the turret for a while, and then Cutie Pie took it down. But since Maple Street was in a really awkward position, headshot for Chris as well, all the damage threats of Velocity never really got to participate, despite Dignitas picking a bad spot in that fight to go, which was in between the turret.
That true shot barrage is 645 mixed damage on the end. It's more just 500 itself right now with 100 AD and 27 AD on the backside.
This could be game.
Big fights coming in. The true shot misses. Misses quite big, but it's been that exploding cast. Not a lot of damage is done by any of the ultimates of Dignitas, but they're so far ahead right now in levels completely. 15 to the 13 of Echo.
Oh,
they are pushing Velocity out of this fight. There's the fear. There's the takedown. Skara finds another one, and at this point, Dignitas is just trying to get the kills from each other.
And that was Velocity just praying that Dignitas forgot that Baron was a thing, because exposing themselves that far outside of the base is suicide against this team if Dignitas finds them. Dignitas did find them, and they get the 4-0.
An easy Baron coming in for Dig. Usually something they do not have in their dictionary. It looks like they are going to represent onto that. Whoa.
Oh. Patoy's gonna take that one. Yeah.
We feel for him. Hey, dude, he gets into the fight. There's one thing when I was playing and kind of learning coming up, they were like, actually, I'm going to take it. I go in more. I'm like, but I'm long range. He's like, but I'm going to be hitting people more. I'm in the fight. I was like, all right, you're in the fight. I get it. Patoy's going to be in the fight.
He's going to slow people down with his low speed fiddlesticks auto attacks.
24-6, 27 minutes in. You can see both of these teams pretty much enjoying themselves. There's a relief of stress you can feel from them. I don't know how much fun
Velocity's having right now.
Well, it wouldn't be
Dignitas is enjoying
You can see, Echo's smiling right now.
Yeah.
He's not having a bad time. There's a Cataclysm coming in. It looks like they will go. Evaniscus is pushed right into the wall. They do take him down. They jump right past the entire team. Pretty nice flag and drag there coming in from NK Inc. to thwart that engagement. Chris says, we're still going, baby. It's going to be Crumbs. Oh, the Baron buff, that regen, keeping him alive. Easter Bunny goes down.
You're right, Rid, though. They are actually all smiling right now. Chris really wanted that kill. It's good to see Velocity is at least taking it a little easy right now.
Yeah.
Dignitas definitely wanting to use this game for momentum. It's going to help a lot of their score lines. Cutie Pie built the Zephyr as well.
He did build it.
Smart choice.
Making a bit of a move here into Zephyr, seeing him come in the inventories of the AD carries. Hearing that kind of becoming a likable build on Vayne, as we saw yesterday and have heard from the community.
So the Vayne thing is absolutely legit.
Yeah. This is Cutie Pie, and I think you can just kind of categorize it as Cutie Pie.
This is a Cutie Pie build, which is legitimate in its own way.
Always. Always. 6-1 in turrets here, Jat. It's quite a bit of global gold that's being fed in there from the turrets, but the objectives now going over. Barons have been, falling into the hands of Dignitas. A lot of this almost made him try. That was pretty nice. He actually had the range to do it. It's not going to pull you over from the queue, but he did get the repel in. A quick explosion of Chris in the top lane.
Yep.
We get some pings going down.
They're saying,
we need to guard this.
Run away.
Run away. We're down one. We probably shouldn't fight. Evaniscus buys an Oracle for any of the wards that will be placed inside the base right now.
That's the wrong direction,
They're not making it out. He wants to bounce. Kiwi Kid keeping himself on the outside of this one, helping that death KDA ratio. Or I guess it wouldn't be a KDA, it'd be a DDA. Looks like he is going to be taking out Maple Street. Echo on the backside. And this is kind of where not having that true ultimate, not having something to quickly burst the team with that karma, you can see it coming into play a little bit.
He's not able to get through Dignitas' mob of power right now. And here we go. Nexus turret's down. Runaway NK Inc.
NK Inc. I think he's got some scent on him that says Dignitas chase me right now because they like the smell. The other, looks like Skara wanted the Nexus. It's going to be Kiwi Kid going in. Exploding cast. Can he get close enough? It's not going to. Chris actually just came back up, so he is full HP. Evaniscus just comes back up. Trying to zone him out. Skara is just smashing his head off of this Nexus, and he's the only one. Nobody's helping him.
Yeah, he wants to end the game. The rest of his team, not so much. Kiwi Kid, look out! No, he died again.
Shut down by Chris.
That is only fitting.
The Kiwi Kid died exactly at the end of the game.
You need to do that for the style points, I think, at the end.